Hi, and welcome to Ballmasters Football. We have a special episode for you guys today. We'll be talking about Manchester United and what's really going on with them. Um, Again, the two results, as you could imagine, we're all in the same boat of what's going on. The only people that know what's going on are the people, the owners, and the people involved. We're just going to give our opinions on what we feel is going on from our perspective. Before I just want to go in with the intro. Manchester United, 20 league titles, 13 FA Cups, 5 league titles, 21 Community Shields and 3 Champions Leagues. How do they find themselves in this position? The last trophy that they won was in 2017. I know you watched some of the game as well and know from the first game of the season. What is really going on?
Um, Personally, in my opinion, I think the club has divided. I think the club is also toxic. I think Ten Hag has been done quite dirty, to be honest, in terms of kind of what he was promised. It's just all fallen back and gone against him. I mean, I'm pretty sure I saw things before he was actually manager of United that he'd be promised his players, be promised he'd be backed, promised money, and it just seems as if it hasn't happened. Because if it did happen, I think pretty sure anyway they would have been signed. De Jong by now, Anthony, all the players that Ten Hag wants. At the moment, he's just the Glazers have put him in a really bad position.
I think, obviously, as you know, we spoke to quite a few Man United fans because, again, we're Arsenal fans, and I know that we've had a similar thing in terms of problems. I think, for me, considering for a club that spent £1 billion on players, they've since Ferguson, as we all know, it hasn't gone according to plan, and they've just tried to throw money at it to try and see if it can work. In that time, they've had Moyes, they've had, Oli, Louis van Gaal, Mourinho, Michael Carrick. Did they have Ryan Giggs for a short spell? I think they might have had Ryan Giggs for a short spell. And I just think that,
it's quite repetitive. It happens quite often.
Yeah, it is repetitive. And I just find, for me, it's annoying that, for a club that big, and even, again, my childhood growing up, Man United were the team. Man United were the team, and they always have been the team. So, they're always winning things. So to see them in this way, I'm kind of feeling sorry for them. As much as I shouldn't. I just feel, but it's just, I don't know. It's just saying how I feel about it.
Sorry to but you see how you said about they spent $1 billion since the Glazers. Like we had that conversation with our friend Craig today.
Yeah, Craig. Shout out Craig.
I kind of feel for them because I feel like they overspend on players that shouldn't be going for those big prices. If you get what I mean.
I think
they bought Fred from Shakhtar for, I think, 55 million.
Yeah.
They bought Martinez, who started out at 25, to nearly tripled his price to like 65 million. I think just because it's a bit like a Man United tax. When United going for a player, clubs see it, they'll double, triple the price. And I think people get that perspective that because they spent so much, things should go well.
Yeah, I think I don't know who the recruitment process, because again, Arsenal, for example, had the similar thing in terms of their recruiting was poor. They weren't able to attract
the big names.
Not saying they're the big names, but quality. So if you've gone out to buy a player, you're going to have some investment in terms of whether you can sell him on, or you be able to have him settle into the Premier League well. Yeah. You look at Depay, they had Di Maria, Cavani. It's one of them ones where you think to yourself. It's one of them ones where you think to yourself. It's one of them ones where you think to yourself. Is there any real point in what's going on? I don't know, to be honest with you. I'm a little bit.
It's happened with various players. They spend big, mainly because of that. Wan-Bissaka, like I said, Martinez, various players. Harry Maguire, which I think is the biggest.
80 million Harry Maguire as well.
Ridiculous. Various other players which have gone for these big
Varane.
price tags.
Varane.
Yeah, they've gone for these big price tags, but then just haven't seemed to click. They click everywhere else, but United. So I think there's something going on behind the scenes that we're not so sure about. Maybe.
Yeah. I think for me personally, they have, like for example, Bruno Fernandes has clicked. A signing they've brought and he's clicked. So they have got. Obviously, I know Mata, Matic, that haven't Herrera as well. I think they have spent, but I just don't think that they have worked out. I think a lot of them have. You could maybe say have been flops, but I just think that you can't necessarily say that they haven't. I don't think it's the problem is that they've spent. I just don't think they've spent well on the players. So I don't think they've had an investment. Obviously, again, Pogba's gone on a free. Ronaldo doesn't look like he wants to be there.
Talks of terminating his contract as well.
Yeah. So again, I just find that for me, being someone that is just an outside looking in, it doesn't look good at all. Yeah. The performances that are being affected as well. And again, we'll just go through a list of them. Like since Ten Hag was in charge in his first pre-season game, Fred and McTominay have both played 5 games from pre-season up to the game against Brighton. Yeah. So there is some chemistry there. The only thing that I would say that has changed within those games in terms of pre-season is the defensive two.
Yeah.
So they've had Varane, Maguire, they've had Varane, Lindelof, and I think they've had Lindelof and Maguire,
Yeah.
And Varane and Maguire, So I think there must have been some form of cohesion by now and to tell them to get them how they want to play. And not only that as well, I find that the passing football that they were doing in pre-season
seemed quite sharp.
It seemed quite sharp. Obviously, again, they played Liverpool, 1-4-0, and you're thinking, hey, what?
Ten Hag could be doing something.
He could be so, and I was the one that did say that. I did say that.
I agree. I said that as well.
And I just find the frustration as someone again watching on is just that what happened? You get beat.
You just don't understand.
Yeah, they got beat at home. You get beat away. You can see the 7 goals in. You can see the 7 goals in 2 games, and I just find that to beat a club like Manchester United, that is unacceptable.
Yeah. That
is unacceptable. You played Martinez, the shortest player on the pitch.
To man like Ivan Toney. And it's now the first time they've been bottom of the league for the first time in 3 decades.
It's kind of comical where you think to yourself, how on earth would you put your back 4 would have such a short player in there. Again, no disrespect to the guy. I imagine he must be talented. He's played in that position before for Ajax, but this is the Premier League. You might have those technically gifted strikers that may not be tall, or if they are tall, you may not play them every single week. When you're coming up into the Premier League, you're playing, your second games against Ivan Toney, obviously your first games against Danny Welbeck.
It's a physical game in the Premier League.
That's 2 of your
high intensity.
Not only that, you're playing Danny Welbeck, which is a tall stature,
experienced striker.
Then the following week you're playing up against Ivan Toney.
And you had to man-mark Ben Mee from that corner.
Then your next game, is it Liverpool?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Well,
it's not looking good like that.
It's looking without me, because I know this is obviously a lot of kids are watching this. It's
worrying.
It's worrying is the correct word. I don't want to use the word that I want to say, but
there is a rumoured protest for the Liverpool game, August 22nd, which.
But in terms of the protest, again, I just hope that it doesn't disrupt anything. That again, I understand everyone wants to protest and give their displeasure with how things are going, but I just hope that it doesn't. No one gets hurt or anything like that.
I think that's stupid. I think it's going to cause more problems.
Yeah.
So what is
To be
protesting gonna do?
look. As much as we may agree or disagree with the protest, you know, they did it at the stadium. Remember when they marched onto the
It was
stadium?
against Liverpool as well, right? Last one was against
Yeah,
Liverpool as well.
and they stand. And I just think to myself, again, I understand we're all passionate. The only thing we just don't want to do is start, you know,
Being physical and hurting.
going into things where police are involved to be involved, and because at the end of the day, as much as you may want to, your club to be successful, the last thing you want to be doing is going and doing that and then getting a lifetime ban from criminal damage or invading a building that you shouldn't have no place being in. But yeah, I think for me the lack of firepower up front, that's what was it? Is that 2 games that they haven't scored?
Yeah.
No,
they scored against Brighton. But
oh yeah, towards the end. Yeah,
still shocking performance.
It's just
disappearing.
Obviously, again, I know a lot of them are relying on Ronaldo, and I think yourself relying on someone like Ronaldo.
You can't.
You can't. You can't. And again, I've got some notes on Martial and Rashford. Rashford, I'm talking about obviously last season, and I'm just going off last season. Rashford's 25 appearances, 4 goals.
That's poor. For someone that was on fire a couple of seasons ago.
Martial is 0 appearances, 0 goals because he was out on loan. But I just think I don't know if it's as bad as Eddie Nketiah, relying on Eddie Nketiah and Lacazette. It's like
what has happened? That's the question.
I don't know. And obviously they had the guy from Watford. I forgot the guy's name. The Watford striker. Ingalo. They had him for a brief spell.
He wasn't even that bad. He wasn't that bad.
I know they wanted to keep him on, depending on how they were trying to add on onto his contract. So it was like we'll like every 3 months or so, and they ended up terminating it. And I just figured to myself, if you're looking at those stats, as much I know Rashford does a lot for the community and footballing. He is a talent. But I'm just thinking to myself, there needs, if you're a striker or you're an attacking player, you need to get goals. You need to get goals, and I think if you're not getting goals, there's going to be question marks against you. If you've got someone like Bruno Fernandes, Eriksen behind you, providing you with goals or assisting you,
there's not really an excuse.
That's what I'm trying to say. There's no excuse on why they're not even scoring. It'd be different if they lost the game 4-3, or if they lost the 2. There just doesn't seem to be any form of attacking creativity as what the passing football was, as what the coach would like from pre-season. It's a complete different. And as I understand is that confidence is something that is all-time low. But I'm thinking in terms of it's very fragile. Yeah. And I think for me, players, as you know, could be feeling the pressure of playing at Old Trafford, playing for Manchester United in terms of, getting booed every single time they misplace a pass or they miss a shot. It's like pressure. And I just feel that the players might be under that. The coach might be under that. Definitely. And there's been uncertainty with the owners. And obviously, as you can, I don't know, you most probably saw with one of the Neville brothers having his displeasure on terms of how things are run.
To be honest, I have a whole different perspective.
What's your perspective?
I mean, those 2 performances, Brighton and Brentford, I think partly, of course, you can blame the Glazers. They've wanted players that maybe managers haven't wanted, so they've had to cope with it. Sorry, but then at the same time, performances like that shouldn't be happening. A performance at home, first game in the season to Brighton, you have to be challenging. You have to be on it. You have to be on it. And away to Brentford, and you go and lose 4-0. I saw a stat. I mean, obviously, money value doesn't mean anything, but Brentford's squad value was 55 million, and Man United was 500 million. In terms of quality in players, United should be going out there, regardless of what the Glazers are doing, because I doubt any player in that starting 11 cares what the Glazers were doing that day. It's all about performance. It's all about performance on the day, and if they can't perform against Brentford and they have the Liverpool the next week, you're going to be worried. You're going to be bricking it.
I think for any Man United fan, they're going to be bricking it. I think for
100%.
anyone look at that's the last team you want to be playing right now.
Yeah.
You know, I just thought the Brentford the way Brentford played against them absolutely pressed them off the park.
They annihilated them.
You know, I think the keeper was passing it. He was that much under pressure. He started to pass at the players that were under pressure, and they got intercepted, and then they ended up scoring. And I just think to myself, for someone of De Gea's experience and his quality, you can see behind.
You can see the whole game.
So what I'm trying to say is, when you play it, I don't know if maybe if, I don't know, De Gea, the best thing what De Gea could have done, which he did, which I have to give him ratings for, was that he apologised and he owned up to that. Yeah. I think if he didn't, there's some players that can just go, you know what, let me just, you know, it's done. Let me just try and hide away from interviews. He came and he stood up and he gave an honest interview, which to me I respect that.
Yeah,
you know,
there was reports of Ronaldo. He got asked to go clap the fans and he apparently just walked off, which for me it just says a lot, really.
Yeah, I think Ronaldo. I did say this in the beginning. I felt when Pogba left, I felt they should have got rid of Ronaldo in this transfer window. I just think for me, the coach needs to have a fresh start and have players that are going to buy into what he's doing. And I think the best way to do that is to have people who aren't going to be influenced by others. And if you've got influencers who may go against what your ideas are, they're in a thing where they don't really know what to do. Do they listen to Ronaldo? Do they listen to the coach?
That shouldn't be the case just because he's there.
But Ronaldo has that pull. He has that influence. So it's a thing where he has a voice and he has an influence in the changing room. The thing is his influence disrupting the coach's message to the players? You know, and the thing is, if you don't play Ronaldo, the fans are going to be saying, "Why aren't you playing Ronaldo?" And I just think that for me, I would have let him go, just like a bit like what Arteta did with Aubameyang. He just let him go and just work with what we've got. And if they can't bring in someone, because I personally think they should go for Ivan Toney, personally, a striker that's going to be in the box. For the players that they've got, I think he will suit them quite well. Again, the Arnautovic one, I don't know. A lot of talks of it's been a test to see how the fans will react to it, and I just find that to be a little bit of nonsense, to be honest with you. The other thing, what do you think in terms of when they got in the coach, and obviously I know the coach at the time was at Ajax. When they knew that Pogba was going to leave, which I imagine that they did at some point, why did they not act to go and get an adequate replacement for Pogba? Because Matic left as well.
Yeah.
So how can you let two of your defensive midfielders leave and just rely on McTominay and Fred? Because again, sorry to interrupt. What if one of those players gets injured?
That's the problem.
Because that's the question. What happens if one of them gets injured? Because then you're in trouble.
I think letting Pogba go was the right decision. Bringing someone in
after that documentary, yeah, definitely
disrespected the club really. But I think as soon as Pogba left, or they knew he was going to leave, they needed to find a replacement for him. Not to match his qualities, but someone that can do a shift. You know what I mean? Not consistently a 10 out of 10 performance every game, but someone that can give a 7 out of 10 performance every game. I think Donny van der Beek, even now he's not playing. I don't know why under Eric. Even he's not playing now. I think having Pogba leave is.
What's the benefits that Man United have with him leaving?
I think obviously saving them a lot of money. I think also because there were reports of leaks coming out about things inside the dressing room. Yeah. Which apparently Pogba leaked a few things. I think that's a positive because whatever happens in the changing room should stay in the changing room, in my opinion. So I think that you kind of get a sense of relief as a manager knowing that whatever you say doesn't go out to the public or the press. So I think having Pogba go was definitely a positive. So that's for me. But replacing Pogba, not replacing, sorry, is a big, big mistake. Because now they've put themselves in a position where they sometimes have to play Eriksen as a 6 and have him sit back, which that isn't Eriksen's role. Eriksen is an attacking midfielder. So I think the whole process is kind of taking a huge decline.
Do you think? I know that you brought it up. Do you think that with clubs knowing that they've let go of Matic, they've let go of Pogba, that any midfielder that they're going to need now, or they approach, that the club can go, I know that you're going to need my midfielder, and now I'm going to put that bid up even higher now.
Definitely.
So it's a problem that they could face in terms of like people will be like, okay, we need the midfielders now, we need to go and buy it. Well, a club could go, well, I know that you sold, obviously I know Pogba left, I know Matic left.
They take advantage.
So now you're going to have to cough up with the big bucks now, because I know full well that you're now going to have to, you're desperate for midfielders. So now any midfielder they get now that may not be quality, that now they're going to have to maybe inflate the prices. Yeah. So that's now you end up in a position where if they need a striker, the prices are going to go even higher now.
Yeah, I think.
You see what I mean? I think the good thing with us, in terms of speaking about Arsenal, is that we got Jesus for 45 million, which again we didn't have no strikers. Obviously, Eddie Nketiah and Lacazette, which was going to go. So we was in a position where we needed a striker. Luckily, I don't know if it's Arteta's connections with but it's a thing where there must be. Man United have a pool. I know the fact they can still attract the players. I think with the rich history that they have, I think they can, because at the end of the day, you think now Liverpool were not saying as bad as in this position, but for many years they were in that position from where they were getting into going into Europa League, then into Champions League, and then built their way up. Obviously in the Brendan Rodgers era, the Roy Hodgson era, the Dalglish's second honeymoon period, if you say, when he came over and took over, the Gerard Houllier period. Yeah. So there wasn't like where they were in this top tier like Klopp era where it's it's the cream. They were always, previous to that, they were in their building blocks. Yeah. And obviously remember the American owners, Gillette and Hicks, the American owners that bought Torres. So they were in some form of turnover, but it wasn't like this.
I get what you're saying, but then at the same time, I think Klopp, he had that sense of he can buy players for cheap, and he's turned them into world class.
But we mentioned Klopp, and Klopp could have went to United.
Well, he's probably glad he didn't.
Pep, can you imagine what machine Man United would have been if they had Klopp?
Well, thankfully they don't.
yeah. I think, but you see what I mean though. It's like a thing where they kept hold, or I think the first time when Klopp went to Liverpool, I think they ended up going with Van Gaal. And then, that ended. And the Pep situation, I think he was able to. There was some talks when I think he was at Bayern before he went to City. But I just think, for me, United have kind of.
I think they put themselves into a bigger hole, really. I think, in my opinion, I mean, Ole. I think it's hard to explain, but Ole got the players he wanted for United. Still had Fred and McTominay, bought Bruno, bought Sancho. Did he buy Ronaldo? Was it out still? I'm not too sure about that one.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I'm not
going to bank on Ronaldo then. But Ole had that squad. He had pretty much the same squad that Eric had and Rangnick had. He got that team.
I forgot about Rangnick.
He got that team to second place. If you think about it, with Man City and Liverpool going for title charges, he got that Man United team to second place.
But I'm sure that was behind closed doors that season.
I don't.
There was no fans. I don't think there was no fans in there. So again, it might have. Again, sometimes as you know, players have, since we've come, obviously fans are allowed in there, fans have said how much of an impact it's had. But at the same time, you know, when you're playing poorly, the last thing you ain't going to have, you obviously, the most you may get is social media, where you may get that. But from a perspective of fans, you know, if you make a mistake, booing you and all sort of stuff, which, again, Arsenal have been in that situation where, so they've kind of been kept safe. So I just think it's had its pluses on that sort of thing, but the negatives that you want your 12th man. Every single team wants a 12th man on the pitch.
I don't think Ole gets enough respect for that. I mean, United fans, when they got second, a lot of United fans are.
Mourinho got second. I think that was, he said, his best achievement.
Didn't get backed. I mean, Mourinho and Ole, I don't think they got the appreciation that they should have got.
I agree.
They came second, but United fans wanted more. They wanted to go for a title charge, but now they're not. They're saying top 4 is their minimum. Ole got them. What I don't understand, Ole got them second, and they still wanted him out. That's what I don't understand.
Yeah, I think they want prestige, and I think, you know, if it wasn't Ole, it'll be somebody else that they want. And if it doesn't work with Ten Hag, they want somebody else.
They were begging for Ralph Rangnick. He came in because things weren't perfect. They wanted him out straight away.
Yeah. So but to be fair, Kaya, you're an Arsenal fan. We're Arsenal fans.
No, but I'm saying,
I think Troops had what's it called? Shout out to Troops. I saw they had AFTV, Arteta out, all that sort of stuff. But I thought, listen, with fans, they can turn, and sometimes when they can turn, it can be divided. So you might have Arteta in, you have Arteta out.
I've always been Arteta in.
I know, but I'm just saying that you can have fans that will just split. It'll be split down the middle, and
that's the last thing you want is fans going against.
Yeah, but coming back, I also want to touch on Frankie de Jong. I know obviously Van der Beek is there currently, and again he's not been used in any of. He's still not used. So that's where I think to myself, it may not just be him being singled out. It might just be that he may not be good enough for the Premier League. And again, he was at Everton for a short spell. I don't think he hit.
Scored against us.
Yeah. But you know, I just don't think he set the world alight since he's been there. And again, he was on loan. Didn't really make it worthwhile. The coach thinking, you know what, let's have a look at him at pre-season. But the thing is, that's another thing what I don't understand is that they've thrown all their eggs in one basket and not necessarily thought about the
consequences. Or what if it doesn't
go others? To plan? Yeah, if it doesn't go to plan, if Man United go, if Barcelona go, you know what? We're keeping Frankie de Jong, and that's that. What do you then do? They've been in talks with that Rabiot. So again, if you're looking to talk to Rabiot, there needs to be somebody else, because again, Rabiot isn't going to be the answer to the midfield problem, because you're still going to have to either play McTominay or Fred. So you need to upgrade that midfield. So you need to ensure that both, I would say maybe get rid of both, but I think because McTominay is a Man United graduate from the academy, he may be given more opportunity to play.
I think in my opinion the Young deal is ridiculous. They've been on it for 13 weeks now. I think if the player himself wanted to leave, he would have been gone by now, because Barca need that money. I think because I don't think Barca are not going to go against him and it's something he doesn't want. So I think if he was really convinced by Erik ten Hag that we've got something going on at United, I think he would have gone. So saying that for 13 weeks and he still hasn't been convinced to join, I think it says a lot. Yeah,
I think as well. There is a lot of issues underlying things. Obviously, he ain't going to want to leave because of the contract situation.
Yeah.
So I know he's tied up in his contract at Barca. So I think it might be. I don't think it's going to be as easy as it possibly likely could be. Just of, okay, you want to buy me, you got the money, okay, I can leave. It might just be the money what you could be left behind, or some illegal issues that he might be.
He has to think in terms of his career, in my opinion. He's still very young. I think.
Is he? But the thing is he? Because the way they're saying is that he's in the plans, but is he playing?
Yeah,
is he playing at Barca?
He is playing.
So if he's playing at Barca, why would you then want to go to United? Because if I'm Frankie de Jong and I'm playing at at Barcelona, and I'm playing week in, week out to an extent, you're then looking at, do you want to then go to United at this present? Because that is another, that's process. that's a process there.
He's been playing at centre back as well, which I mean, for me, I think
they need a centre back. Is he taller? Is he taller than Mendes?
Who is taller than Martinez?
Martinez, sorry, yeah.
I think the young. I think he needs a change.
I think you might be as tall as a mannequin there.
I think he definitely needs a change. Definitely needs a change.
Yeah. I just think they need to get that done before. Because again, how long until the transfer window closes?
September.
Right. So they have to get an act on, because there's going to be. I imagine there's going to be bids that's going to be made, proposals, and there's going to be team offers from other clubs. Obviously, Chelsea's after him.
They're taking their time. And
yeah.
You can't take your time with that.
And that's the issue. It's just you just looking at it. And not only that, obviously, to my next question is talking about defensive midfield. I think against Brighton he played Eriksen as the striker, and then Brentford the week after he's playing him in the defensive midfield.
I think
holding, and he's just left Fred. I imagine he's left Fred as the only holding midfielder.
I think he's trying to. I think Eric's trying to do same kind of thing Arteta did with experimenting. You see how he played Ainsley as that right wing back, instead of midfield. I think he's experimenting at Erik ten Hag.
Mm-hmm.
Just trying to get a feel for each player, because Christian Eriksen, he went at pre-season either. Christian Eriksen.
Yeah.
So I think Eric's trying to get a feel for each player, experiment. If it don't go well, it will change it, because he's gone from Eriksen playing as a centre forward, trying to at a different position. So he's experimenting.
I think Eriksen, to be honest, I know experiments. I understand that. I mean, for someone of Eriksen's ability and the reputation that he has, Ten Hag would have known who he is and just gone. You're not someone that plays defensive.
You can't play defensive.
That's like asking Odegaard to go and play defensive midfield.
It doesn't work.
You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that. And I just think to myself, for you to, that's basically saying, by putting him there, that's basically saying, you're going to be the defensive guy, Fred, and you're going to have to do all the work defensively. And maybe where the pressing and getting overrun in midfield, that's probably what the problem was.
Yeah.
So I think for me, there needs to be a balance. There needs to be a balance there, and I just think that they haven't got that balance in that midfield. And again, games are won and lost in midfield. Yeah. And if you're getting pressed and your midfield's getting overrun, and your back four and your goalkeeper's getting pressured to the point where you're conceding goals, that isn't a good thing. And again, he's a good coach. Yeah. He's learnt from Pep, and
took Ajax to a semi-final. Champions League.
Yeah.
So it ain't as if he can't do it.
I just think for me there is a way of there is a way that he wants to play, and I just think he hasn't got the players currently to do that. And until he's able, I personally think he needs at least 2 transfer windows. Yeah. I think this is a wash. This one here is a wash, because I think whatever he gets in now is a panic buy. I think from January, well, again, that's if people are available in January, he needs to go and act. I would say identify what you can now.
And the thing is, going
into January.
Going back to your point where how much they'll be, how much players will be in January. That's halfway through the season. So
yeah.
Players will probably be, probably double the price.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more money getting sucked out of the club.
Not only that, it's a World Cup. So full
well.
Yeah. So you're looking at massive fees, price tags. The next 5 games are Liverpool at home, Southampton away, Leicester away, Arsenal at home, Crystal Palace away. Now, for me, they need to get some points on the board.
Minimum 6. Minimum.
6 points.
I think. Sorry, it's Southampton. Who's after Southampton?
Leicester, away.
I think they could do a job away at Leicester, but at the same time, it is United. So I think they need to get minimum 6 points. Southampton and Leicester's their only home. I think Arsenal right now is on fire.
Yeah, and
Liverpool. And
Arsenal,
Palace.
Arsenal, Old Trafford. Arsenal, Old Trafford. Our record is
No, I think.
you didn't laugh at that. Our record is poor.
No,
Our record is poor.
Right now, we could have United.
Currently, yes.
Anything can happen in France.
But when you go down, when we go to Old Trafford, it's a next story. It's a next thing, and that's where you think to your point. That's where you think to yourself, boy, Old Trafford. Or mind you, there's gonna make. Again, I don't know what our next 5 games is. Obviously, we'll talk about it on the next show, on the top 6 show. But I find that there's gonna be some hiccup where you're like, boy, Man United, Old Trafford, I don't even know, you know. That's how it's gonna be. I think, yeah. Like if like for example, if who's going to Old Trafford, you know, this coming weekend, I'd be like, you know, that's all right. Yeah, I think we could do it. But between now and the time we play Man United,
anything can happen.
There's going to be some hiccups that's going to put that doubt in your head. Because again, our record at United isn't perfect, and it's not a place where, with Arsenal in particular, that we'll go there and go, yeah.
Confidently win the game.
Yeah, it's very rare. So I think for me, if we go down there and turn them over, it's going to be a surprise to me in terms of like, wow, yeah, we were the real deal. We're the real deal. But yeah, but it's just yeah.
It's the thought of going away to Old Trafford and past experiences. That's
the doubt. That's the doubt in my head. But again, within that time, they could have made some transfers in that time, which they need. They need to do some business fast. So again, if they're able to get a striker in and a midfielder in, by the time they play us now, it could be worrying. But I think with Jesus, you know,
adds a bit of winning mentality to our squad.
But again, I don't want to talk too much about the Gunners. We'll talk about them on another show. But I also want to try and get the focus back onto United. That, you know, Martial, I imagine he will have a part to play during the course of this season. I hope he gets some game time. Yeah. I just think, what do you think the solution is now? So now that obviously we talked about their failings, and what do you think their solution is to get Man United back on track?
I think they need to go. I don't think they should be going for the big name stars. Mm-hmm. I think they should just go for the players that we know is going to put in the shift. Mm-hmm. So I agree with you. I think they should go for Ivan Toney. Mm-hmm. I think they need to think about.
What about Isaac? Is it Isaac?
Isaac, I don't think so. I think it'd be too much money and it's a risk investment. True. So I think this season is Ten Hag's kind of rebuild season, in my opinion. I think next transfer window will be his clear out, and then they'll bring back in. So,
because the way you're explaining it, that sounds to me like what we had with Arteta.
Exactly.
So is it a thing where do you think that we just go you think they go right? We're gonna stick with him.
Yeah.
We're gonna give him the opportunity. We're gonna just allow him to give him the keys to United. Let him clear out what he wants to clear out. Yeah. We're gonna stick by him whether they lose, win, whatever. We're gonna stick with him, and then the players that he's gonna identify, we'll get those in. Because I don't think because I think it was Craig that said that they haven't got a technical director or something like that. So maybe employ one, because imagine he worked with one at Ajax. Oh yeah, he obviously got suspended, so they had another one in. But I just think for me he needs one, because maybe he may not be. I know he might be a coach, but he may not have the thing to go right. I want to identify this player, this player.
That's exactly what
so he might put himself under pressure. Maybe that's why they haven't really done any business in the transfer market, possibly. So that's another thing to look at as well. But for me, I think there needs to be a process. Yeah. I think everyone needs to buy into the process. Does Ronaldo fit into that process?
In my opinion, no.
And then that's what you have to look at, because again, if he's looking at the long-term plan,
I don't think Ronaldo can be the long-term plan.
If Ronaldo's going to be disruptive to what he's doing and to the project, then I think it's best that he leaves. But again, I think he needs to go. I think they need to get a technical director in, and I think they need to identify key positions that they need to fill.
And not necessarily get them now, but maybe next transfer window or January.
Yeah, I personally think get the players what they're going to get in now.
You can get them all in now?
No. Getting what they can in now, because
yeah.
again, it's going to be too much. It's going to be too difficult. So I think getting what they can now, then they can then go, right, get the technical director in during the course of the season, identify players in for January, and then from January, you can then start, whether that be...
Fill in the puzzle.
Yeah, and then, because I personally think they won the FA Youth Cup last year.
They've got a lot of youth coming through.
So what I'm trying to say is that he might, especially with someone that can nurture the young talent, just give him that chance. Yeah. Just give him that chance. And I think for me, if they're able to give him that chance, I would love to see the mixing in, because I think sometimes a club just needs a bit of young energy coming in. I know obviously again I don't want to talk about the striker that they had previous. That's in illegal issues, but they had him come through a couple of seasons ago, and he was doing well.
Came through the academy.
Rashford's come through. What's the other guy begins with? I keep getting this guy's name wrong. Begins with an E. Elanga, sorry. He's another one that's come through. Yeah. So there is players coming through, and I just think they just need to bring more, because especially with the FA Youth Cup,
just have some faith in them.
That's it. And I think if you're starting to approach the same way we played Saka, Smith Rowe, Martinelli, they need to then go, right, let's start again, rip up this old dossier of the manual of how Man United is, keep some old traditions, the youth, and then add some quality in key areas, and then get them going. Because I don't necessarily think it is a big, massive fix. Again, if the owners leave and you bring somebody else in, it's still going to take some time for it all to be sorted out anyway. I just think if they can work with the Glazers, and again, same thing with Arsenal, same thing with the bloody the Cronkies. I personally think the all or nothing, which we'll do a review on, guys, on the Arsenal show, is that they need to get the fans on side. And again, I don't know how much water is under the bridge for it to be fixed, but there needs to be some form of relationship. And bring everyone back in and be able to go forward. But again, I just want to shout out to all the Man United fans, and obviously again, hopefully things work out. I just want to send a shout out, because obviously we've done our first holiday camp. I want to send a shout out to all the boys that subscribed to us over the today. So again, big shout out to you guys, and please do, if you like any of our videos, please do hit that like button and subscribe, and look out for our next video.